Going?
Yeah, it's going, man.
All right, guys. Joe Bryant, Austin Torres here. Episode 1 of Get to Know. I thought it would be fun to get to know your hosts as we take you along this journey of getting to know other places, people, industries, martial arts, etc. So we thought it would be fun to kind of interview each other a little bit and kind of share with you guys who we are, where we're coming from, what we're bringing to the table for you. So, Austin, how do you want to kick it off, buddy?
I guess I'll just start. Yeah. Austin, I've known Joe for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
We met here at the gym, Genesis Jiu-Jitsu Nasal. Got our black belts together, and anybody who's familiar with Jiu-Jitsu knows what typically happens after a good roll session. It's chatting. It's getting to know your gym partners and your friends and talk about anything and everything. So we just got done doing a round.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what better time to just threw the camera up and said, let's just do it here for the podcast. Yeah, I did, just to jump into it, been training jiu-jitsu, oh my gosh, for 17 years now, off and on.
Hey.
Yeah, well, I was in the military for so long that it was kind of off and on. I'd go on deployed or be gone for a while,
Yeah.
Um,
And just a kind of quick reminder, if you haven't seen a previous episode, Austin here, 21 years, Marine vet.
yeah.
Yeah, right? Works at a engineering firm?
Yeah, contractor.
Contractor, okay. Austin, where are you from initially?
Oh, damn. So I was a military brat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so both my parents were Marines. And I
Ah,
was actually born on Camp Pendleton.
both your parents are Marines, I didn't know that.
Yeah, both were Marines. They both eventually transferred over to the Army. They're both retired now as well. But born in Cali, bounced around for my folks as a kid. Ended up going to high school in Illinois. I enlisted out of Illinois, Marines, and then, yeah, I've always considered Texas home. I lived in Texas most of my life.
Okay.
So Texas is home.
So how old were you when you jumped into the Marine Corps? 18?
17.
17.
Yeah,
Nice.
I joined at 17. I was ready to go. Yeah, just took off.
Nice. 21 years is no small stretch.
No.
I know a lot of people aren't super thrilled to always talk about their experience of deployment. What are you willing to share about your time in the Marine, deployments, etc.?
First thing off the top of my head is I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I think the people who know me the best out there, especially on the military side, knew that I loved being a Marine, loved being part of that environment.
What did you love about it?
Honestly, the brotherhood, camaraderie. That's the number one thing. You're probably gonna hear a lot of vets say that. It's like there's just this thing there between folks who have the same MOS or the same military job. They've done the same things. They've lost the same friends. They've seen the same places. And it's also the Marine Corps, anyway, in my eyes, is one of the last bastions for like the American male.
Yeah.
It's not polluted with some softer concepts. So you can actually join. You can be in a combative environment regularly. You can, exercise that toxic masculinity that everybody thinks is so toxic. But actually, it's not that bad at all, especially if you're a high performer.
And your job there, what was your job in?
I flew. So I was a navigator on C-130.
What did you fly? A C-130?
Yeah, I wasn't the guy at the controls. I was the navigator behind the co-pilot.
Okay.
Doing all the nerd math.
Nerd math. Freaking nerds. Okay, and then what were a few highlights of your military career, would you say?
Just traveling a lot. Of all the deployments that I enjoyed the most, the 2014 timeframe, when I was picking up and we actually went out and did a lot against those folks. I actually felt like, yeah, this is what I joined for.
Yeah.
And this is challenging, dangerous, and good work.
Nice. So you had a pretty active role in missions against ISIS then?
A couple.
Nice. That's awesome. And you mentioned an appreciation for the camaraderie of the military, which makes sense. It's one of the reasons why you enjoy our martial arts community so much. Because for those of you who know jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of camaraderie here. And not unlike what we're doing now, people, as Austin mentioned, have a good training session, try to kill each other, and sit down. Not unlike we are. We've had a lot of conversations on these very mats here right now with each other, a lot of others. That's kind of part of what brought us here. All right, so why did you retire from the Marines? Just have enough?
Yeah, it was time to move on.
Yeah.
It my ex-wife at the time, she was ready to get out of the military gig. I was ready to get out of the military gig. It was just time. There's I will give this advice: if you're still in the military and you're after 20 years, get out now. There's a lot more money to be made. But if you're loving what you're doing, keep doing it. But yeah, I have absolutely no regrets leaving the Marine Corps, even though I miss my really good friends.
Yeah.
But cell phones and plane tickets can solve that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just time. It's time to get and move on.
Nice. And what can you share with us about what you're doing? I know you signed an NDA. There's only so much you can talk about, but just in rougher terms, what can you share with us about what you do now?
I just work for a defense contractor. The PMs there developing technologies for the military.
Nice. How you like that?
Really like it.
What do you like about it?
It's different. There's a product at the end of the day. You know, there's something to be shown for your work, and yeah, to know I'm still kind of in the same environments occasionally that I was in the Marine Corps, and I get to, you know, grow my hair out, not have to deal with the grooming standards that were normally applied to me every day.
A little bit more freedom.
Yeah, a lot more freedom actually, and then the big thing is developing new things.
Yeah.
That's it, like having a product to show, because
A sense of progress.
yeah, to be able to, like, I mean, I left the Marine Corps hoping to be involved in something, whether it's making a cell phone or making a new shower rod or something, to be able to say like, yep, I helped design that, I helped build that, I was involved in that, and I have that now.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can see it to fruition, but we'll see what happens. But yeah.
And then, you said you've been training Jiu-Jitsu about 17 years?
Yeah.
Nice. And then I think you told me before you did some MMA?
Yeah, so when I started, I was stationed in Japan, and it's a question I'm going to ask you later on, but I'll just go ahead and kick it off, I guess. I got started in Jiu-Jitsu, actually I got started in MMA first time because my ex-wife was essentially groped at a bar.
Oh, wow.
And I had just gone to the bathroom, so I wasn't there, and one of my buddies handled the dude who did it, and was like, got him out of there or whatever. So I come back from the bathroom, and there's obviously the scene, you know, it's the aftermath, and you're like, what the hell happened? My good friend was like, hey, this is what happened, we're gonna get out of here, you know. I felt somewhat helpless. Like, what would I have done? You know, like a lot of dudes think they're just gonna
see red and handle business.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, anybody who shows up across. Yeah. And I was no different, and I was like, you know what, that's it. I'm gonna, you know, the next time this happens, I want to be so effective at it that it's not even a challenge for me. So I think that happened on a Saturday, and that Tuesday I was at the local like Japanese gym, MMA gym.
Nice.
And it was more Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So
that's an awesome combo.
Yeah, I started training with those guys, and of course I was, even though I was a young Marine, I was not in the shape for it.
Yeah.
I mean, strength and conditioning was way off in that environment, and that's what really got me in that mode of, this is what I need to do. This is awesome. And I focused more on Muay Thai and MMA, and I had a couple exhibition matches, and got whooped on one, I think, and a draw, and the next day just called around. But I mean, nothing published, nothing crazy, nothing in front of a ginormous crowd. But yeah, I moved back to the States. I wanted to keep up with the MMA thing, but at that time, UFC was so big that in order to be what I thought at the time when I was younger was like, if I wanted to be really good at it or decent, I had to get way too much time to it. And I had little girls at home. I had a full-time job that made me travel. So I just said, I like the grappling. I'm gonna leave the striking alone, and I never looked back.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, this guy can strike though. Because if you recall, some months ago, maybe a year ago, I had you put on the gloves when we were doing some self-defense work.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to work out of bad positions with him on me, and like I'm trying to build up. He's like, reach around, start pop me in the face. I'm like, like damn, like that's tough.
It just goes to show. You mentioned that it goes to show like what sticks with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, I mean, you had a hook in, you're hanging off the side, me trying to pop me in the face. I was like, dang, all right.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to do a little better there.
No, it is interesting. That's definitely a testament to what sticks.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a good buddy of mine who used to wrestle in high school. Like, it's probably pretty decent. And obviously we're older, and he's all boozed up one night, and he starts wrestling around, and he's moving really well. And it's just like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Stuff you don't, I'm sure you're sore as shit the next day. But yeah, people are muscle memory, movement like that. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
And then what are something that was a difficult transition for you going from the Marine Corps world into the private sector?
All right. The first thing right off the bat, leaving the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And especially with what's been going on lately, like all these branches getting outed for being fat. Leaving the Marine Corps, the biggest adjustment I had, environment-wise, was one, working with old people.
Yeah.
I don't say that as a dig to anybody. It's just older people. You're not working. Like,
we don't hate you old people.
Yeah, we love you old people. I have special old people in my life right now. But the whole idea was like, you're at work and there's a 70-year-old dude still working, and he's like either at your same level or he's your boss, or maybe he might be working for you.
Yeah.
And that's what was kind of new, is working with some senior citizens.
Yeah.
You know, because there's not a lot of them in the Marine Corps.
I can imagine.
And but next, it's gonna sound bad, in fact, I wasn't accustomed to, like, if you saw an overweight person in uniform in the Marine Corps, you're like, has anybody talked to this guy? Like, if nobody has, I have to. You gotta go at least mention or address something. But the biggest one, I know I said this first two kind of like as a joke, but seriously, the biggest one I had the hardest time adjusting to is people's availability. Because when I was in the military, it was very much, there was some slop on when people showed up, you know, especially as you get a little more senior. But it's simply like, hey, by 8, everybody's at work. Everyone that you need is at work. Yeah. Right? And
you're a little more on top of their shit there.
I wouldn't say on top. I mean, we got some real professional folks I work with. It's just the timeline. And the corporate environment now, especially, you know, with people being so captivated with working from home, and like I could show up to work right now and ask, hey, where's so-and-so? Oh, they come in around 10. And they'll work. I mean, I'm not saying they show up at 10 and 2. They come in at 10 and they work until 9 at night.
Right.
10 at night. I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's like you know, I was running some things before I retired, and I was accustomed to having everybody that I needed there when I was there. Yeah. And now it's different. Now you're kind of like, it's like the Swiss cheese effect. You gotta, you got 2 pieces of Swiss cheese rotating. You gotta see how everything lines up to who can you get the information through at the same time. That's really was the biggest challenge that I had, and I wouldn't even say it was a challenge. Right. So it's just
acclimation.
Yeah, because the benefits that person that I'm talking about that I needed at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, the benefits of them showing up whenever they wanted to also benefits me too, because I can do the same thing. Yeah. I just choose my own hours. Right. So it's not like I'm stuck here at 7 and they get to come in at 10. It's more like I just don't want to come in and work at 10 and have to work at 10. Yeah. So that's the biggest adjustment, was the freedom between.
Then how did everybody make that work for you, and not everybody's on the same program like they might be?
Right. Yeah, same time, same timeline. Everybody's going to go to the gym at this time probably, and everybody goes to lunch at this time, and everyone's out at the same time.
What would you say that is something, maybe a few somethings, that were ingrained in you in the Marine Corps that serve you well in your private sector employment life that you see lacking in a lot of people who didn't serve?
People who didn't serve?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I gotta choose my words wisely because some people might watch this. But the biggest thing I've noticed, you know, you're in the military for so long, you look at your environment and you think you're working with some turds in some scenarios, right? Like, oh, that guy's not at our level. Well, when in reality, that dude's at a high level too. That guy's a real high performer, especially when they go out in the civilian sector, because the biggest thing I've picked up on, and the first thing that came to my mind when I started asking that question was just grit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just the idea of like, okay, I don't know how to do what I'm just asked to do or tasked with. I'm still gonna give it the college try. I'm gonna try to take charge. I'm gonna try to think ahead of everything. There are, I wouldn't say a lot, there are some people who are successful in the corporate environment who are just doing the bare minimum and sitting around and everything that's wrong is somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And
Common.
like the value of somebody just showing up, fucking it up, and saying, "My bad. I'm gonna do better. I know what I did wrong. This is a matter of inexperience and not just laziness."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference. They will say like, "Hey, I've only been here a year and I jacked this up.
Yeah.
I know what I need to do next time." To, I've worked here for 10 years. No one told me to do it that way. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Fire me? That kind of crap.
Yeah.
That's not rampant where I work at all. I work with some high level folks.
I bet.
I'm very happy to work with them. But you see it. You see the differences in just that grit and then
Determination.
there's a determination there, and there's also, I hate saying it, but it's like a true welfare mentality. Like knowing that the people that are working around you also have lives, family, need food, need water, need shelter, that kind of thing. I think if you're in any leadership capacity in the military, in any branch, that's ingrained.
Yeah.
I think like the people, what do people do?
Careful.
Yeah, and you can see how some managers or some people in charge of anything really are just, that's your job, suck it the fuck up, you're doing it this way, and you get that like, oh my god, I hate my boss lifestyle at work.
Yeah.
I can see that rampant. So two things really, just that grit of like, give it the old college try and if you fuck up, own it.
Yeah.
And then two, just taking care of the people around.
I mean, having those ingrained in you has got to have you standing out to your employers. I mean, I've known him for a few years now, as you said, and it sounds like you've moved pretty quickly upwards in a short period of time.
Yeah.
In that defense contractor organization.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what too fast would be, but I mean, I'm very happy with how things played out. I'm very happy with the job. It has its, like anything else, it has its moments, but I've been doing this new thing now where I think of like challenges as like percentages. Like if you have a relationship with anything, person, job, I don't know, an old truck, and 97% of the time it's give me what you want, and you're happy with it, that 3%, really, you're really gonna like hate your job those 3% of the time.
Yeah.
People, me included, tend to focus on the 9 days out of the year where I feel like shit about my job.
Yeah.
And I don't focus on the rest.
Just kind of keep behind the bigger perspective.
Yeah, so I'm definitely happy with it. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I'm definitely enjoying it, that's for sure.
So, in the long scheme of things, do you intend to want to grow further in that company, or stay about where you're at until you're ready to retire?
Yeah, I would be happy if I could just ride this out kind of like where I'm at right now. Maybe take on more responsibility a little bit, but I don't want to manage people.
It has its pros and cons, but the cons are not inconsequential.
Yeah, I don't want
to say the least.
Not right now anyway, and that could change, everything could change. But
course.
I don't want to manage people right now. I've got my plan.
Yeah.
And this is fitting into the plan and supporting the plan, and I'm going to stick to the plan.
Yeah, man. Now, switching topics a little bit, Austin here's became a grandfather recently.
Yep.
I've been making a lot of old man jokes, telling him I'm going to take his Werther's Originals, about him getting rolled out of the senior care facility and dumped on the mats. How you feel about being a grandfather, dude?
It's still new. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he just turned 4 weeks ago.
Okay, month in.
Yeah, I will say this to the parents out there, or the grandparents who might be watching this. I think I get it. Even after 4 weeks, I think I get it. I was a young dad, as most people probably tell. I don't look like a grandfather, but I
Well,
was a young dad. When my oldest daughter was born, I was 19, and I knew that it was going to be work, responsibility, purpose. We talked about that on our little intro thing. Big thing being purpose. I didn't know all of those things at 19 years old. It hit me later on in life, and I hate using the word burden, but you are burdened with father. It's a burden. Man.
Yeah.
There's a you can't just like do whatever you want.
Yeah. A bird you can appreciate.
Yep. And so to hold my grandson the first time and look at him and then be so proud of my daughter, like incredibly proud of both my girls. Like, to raise the quality of young women that I've raised, well, their mother and I have raised together, especially nowadays. Like, that
Rare.
is, I mean, I really do feel like we're very, very blessed with how our girls come out. But look at your daughter and see, like, she is gonna be a great mom. And now I don't look at my grandson. I'm holding him saying, like, okay, I gotta have a career now for you. I gotta put a roof over your head. I gotta keep the lights on. I gotta keep you safe. It is kind of selfishly being able to look at a baby and be like, oh my God, I love you so much. Here you go, but you're her problem.
That's on you.
So I totally get it now.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And so it's definitely new. I am so excited for him to grow up and play in my yard or play whatever property I own at that time.
Teach him Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, get him on the mats, get him on a dirt bike. Just because again, I didn't have sons, I had 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So just have this little kid run around where I am young enough to where I can wrestle with him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably not gonna break a hip.
Well.
Hopefully. But yeah, it's been really, really cool.
Nice.
Especially
man.
seeing his pictures roll in. My daughter sent me pictures rolling right.
I bet.
So we're all excited. It's interesting.
I bet.
I'll
To
say
say
it.
the least.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to do this podcast? What appeals about this project to
I don't
you?
know, man. I think you and I have a good dynamic where obviously we can sit and BS and talk.
Yeah.
Like genuine talk about anything. This is gonna be a good segue. I'm done answering questions.
Oh shit.
But no, it was one. Got out of the Marine Corps, came down here to retire, and lived down here. Obviously, joined the gym, and you and I think we were just in passing started talking about Stoicism. We started talking about your business. Obviously, Jiu-Jitsu is the big one that Joe and I talk about, and then just the overall dynamic between you and I. And then plus, why the hell not? Why not do a podcast with a good friend? Just BS and chat with, nothing seems forced.
Yeah.
So I got the time now. It's something I am interested in doing,
Yeah.
and it just seems like the universe has really just been like, here you go, guys.
Steer you in that direction.
Yeah, well, steering both of us. Like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you guys feed off each other. You guys are good friends. So similar interests, and then enough interests that aren't similar to where it's gonna
Compliment
show
each
you
other.
something. You're gonna show me
Yes.
some things too. But that brings me back to why'd you move down to Texas? You're not originally from here, are you?
I am not from Texas. I grew up in Michigan, and it's kind of a winding path that took me here in Texas. I grew up in a small town in Michigan, and as I've shared with Austin here, how do I put this diplomatically? I was a little bit of a piece of shit growing up. A little turd.
you?
Yeah. A little bit of a turd. Very hedonistic. Grew up very much into drugs, drinking, chasing girls, getting into fights, being a little local terror, I guess. A lot of pranks, and lived that very selfishly, very hedonistically, focused on pleasure the majority of my life. And then, I got in some legal trouble multiple times. I got a fair bit of legal trouble. And I got to a point where I just kind of had an epiphany. I was at a guy's birthday party, and everybody's like, yeah, Sean, sorry if you're listening, Sean. Sorry. They're like, happy 30th birthday, Sean. And I was high and drunk, like, wait, this dude's 30? I'm like, man, everything he owns is in a backpack behind his couch. Dude's basically homeless, bumming off friends, drinking with teenagers, all significantly younger than them, like partying with teenagers. This dude's a loser. Sorry, Sean.
Jesus, dude.
I know, right?
I don't know you, Sean, but sorry.
Yeah. I'm just keeping it real, Sean. Just
Holy
keeping it real.
shit.
And then I was like, man, am I becoming like that? And I was like, yeah, I definitely am. And it didn't immediately turn a switch for me. I actually kind of started leaning into partying more for a while there, but I still had, no matter how much I drank or smoked, I still had this voice in my head telling me that you got to change, dude.
Yeah.
This is, right? You can be more. And I had a background. I always worked as a kid. I grew up, relatively poor, so I always had to earn my meals for the most part. I got a job, waiter and being cashier, and I served papers. I was a apprentice private investigator for a little bit. I dug ponds.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah. And I got to a point where I was like, I need to leave. I need to destroy the old version of myself, and go somewhere where no one knows me, and rebuild who I was. So I moved to Chicago initially, cut off most of my old friends and family and people that I knew.
That's what they say. So you gotta do sometimes, man.
I wasn't strong enough to not give in to,
Yeah.
people
To be in the same
to
environment.
pull me back into that world.
Yeah.
So I did have to cut ties, and I left, went to Chicago. I became a manager. First, I got a job at a slate and copper roofing company,
Yeah.
and that pushed me in a lot of ways. It was the most physically demanding job I've ever had. It was humiliating. I had a little bit of ego as a young man.
What was humiliating?
I was very bad at it.
But what was the job? Were you actually roofing?
I was like a laborer helper.
Yeah.
So I would help with repairs for slate and copper. I was working in the shop, and they would have, they'd do like custom finials and cupolas and leader boxes, all made of copper.
I don't know what any of that
And
is.
so you'd have to solder them, and I was so bad at it. I wasted a bunch of copper. The guys there, they nicknamed me Idiota Yo, or Burro Yo. So they're like, Idiota Yo, ven acá! And I'm like, I didn't argue. I'm like, 'cause you're right, man. I'm so bad at this. And
How long did you do that?
maybe just under 2 years.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
You endured that for 2 years.
Yeah. And I hurt myself a lot. I mean, carrying stacks of slate up and down 3-story ladders, working in the winter in Chicago at times, painful, miserable, but it toughened me up in a lot of ways. And then I parted ways with that, where I was let go. A handful of us were laid off at one point when they were downsizing.
Yeah.
And then I was managing a Toys R Us for also just under about 2 years.
Yeah.
People think that sounds fun. It wasn't fun. Like, you're like, oh yeah, toys and stuff, cool. Like, if you are managing a Toys R Us, you don't have Dance Star Mickey on Christmas back then. You're dealing with feisty people, with what we now call Karens. Back then, just people being fussy with you. So I started jumping around, looking at different entrepreneurial activities, sales stuff. I was selling Kirby's briefly, like Kirby vacuums.
My dad bought one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good machine, but the way they would teach you to sell it, at least the way that guy was teaching me to sell it, I should say, wasn't ethical, and I just couldn't get on board with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when I met my first mentor, and he got me into roof sales, and he would teach me some things about sales, communication, persuasion. He gave me some flyers, cards. Basically said, you're 100% commission. If you can make it work, great. If not, that's on you. Figure it out. He kind of pushed me out there a little bit. And it was an interesting dynamic for me because I considered myself to be a big fish in a small pond, from the small pond I'm from.
Yeah.
Got into a lot of fights. I was known to be a bit of a scrapper, stuff like that. So I wasn't used to letting people talk shit to me. And the first time I hung out with this guy, I got in his truck. He kind of looks me up and down. He's like, how old are you again? I was like 22, 23. He's like, at the time I was still rough around the edges. I had earrings, visible tattoos, and dressed like a punk, sleeveless shirt. And he's like, so you're in your early 20s. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what do you think? You're fucking cool or something? And I'm like, yeah.
Was he just busting your balls, or was he serious? Like
Both. But
just getting in your shit.
I think on some level he knew I needed to be broken down to be rebuilt.
Okay, so he's like a sensei.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was definitely my sensei, for sure.
Master Splinter.
And he's like, what do you think, you're fucking cool or something? I'm like, still trying to not totally kneel to the man. I'm like, yeah, actually I do. He's like, yeah? How much is that paying? And I was like, well, nothing. He's like, okay, how about you dress like a fucking adult tomorrow? Can you do that?
Damn, dude. I gotta meet this guy.
And I was just like, yeah, I can. So I changed my style of dress and appearance after that interaction. And he would take me with him on sales meetings, and he'd tell me to shut up and listen. And I would go in, and he would sell large roofing systems, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 roofing systems. And he would go in there, and they would tell him no at first. Then he would negotiate, persuade, or we would leave with a signed contract and a check. And he would quiz me outside in his truck afterwards. But why did they tell me no? He's like, well, that's what they said. What was the underlying reason for what they were thinking? Right? Quiz me on stuff like that. And then he'd have to, what did I say that got them to change their mind? So he would quiz me about what I was capable of understanding at that point in time. He would tear me up about the way I talked. And all these little things added up over time. And before you know it, and I was struggling in the beginning.
Well, hang on. So he hired you on for what job? Why did you join his crew?
So
To be his protege?
I mean, that's kind of what he propositioned. We met at a networking event. And he was asking me, why are you here? I was like, I don't honestly know, man. I was
Were you
like,
dressed like a punk?
no, No, I was wearing my manager clothes from Toys R Us, so it's like a button-down
Did you have
maroon.
a giraffe?
I know. I was like a maroon button-down shirt and khakis. That was like the nicest thing I'd ever owned in my life, I think, at that point. And he'd asked me why I was here. I was like, honestly, I don't know. I don't have a business or anything to sell. I want something different. I want to be around business-type people. So I'm told about this, so here I am. I honestly don't even know what I'm doing here. And he's just kind of looking at me, and he's like, interesting. You want to have lunch tomorrow?
Yeah, this is like a movie.
And I was like, sure, let's have lunch. And we started talking, and I was telling about my journey of wanting to change my life, and I'm out here, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. And he was just like, he owned a plumbing company, and I think he was a real estate agent, and he owns I think like an insurance franchise or something at the time. He also had a little side project of selling roofs based out of his garage. And he was like, if you can help me grow this, I will teach you to make your own money. I'm not going to give you money. I'll teach you to make your own. And started kind of teaching me some things about sales, persuasion, negotiation, business. And I struggled. I'm a slow learner, as I testify and say that in my jiu-jitsu class all the time. I'm a slow learner, but I stick with things. And I was a slow learner. I was going out and knocking doors morning till night, every day, 4 months, going home, failing, going home, and then the gal I was with at the time, we would argue because I couldn't pay my end of the bills, and I'm laying there in bed at night just like, ugh. Like, this feels miserable. Going out and failing all day, then coming home and arguing. You're telling me you need to get a real job. I'm like, I can make this work. I just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, I got my first roofing sales. Then another, and another, and another. I started stacking considerable commissions in a short period of time. Caught up on my bills, splurged on groceries. It felt amazing. And then before you know it, I started building momentum. And then started bringing on people and mentoring them as he was mentoring me. And then we started opening franchises or branches of this company in Indiana, Michigan, Tennessee. Tennessee was the first one, actually. And that's what took me to Texas in a long roundabout answer to get to your question. I first came here because we're like, hey, we should open a Texas branch. You can do roofs there year round. They just had a massive hailstorm. Let's go. And my young protege at the time, younger than me, and I was young. And I hired him on, and he was closing a lot of deals. We were killing it together. And then we were in Indiana. We got notice of a big storm heading that way. And we were like, bro, like we should just right now, let's pack up and jet to Texas right now before the storm closes, because otherwise we're going to be stuck here for weeks or whatever. So we said, fuck it, let's roll. And we packed up real quick. We even just bought a bunch of groceries, threw them in the car, and we started driving, through Illinois, through Indiana, through Illinois, edge of Missouri. Snowstorm caught up to us. We thought we were going to get ahead of it. I was stranded for about 13 hours, 15 below zero on the highway. And I had a lot of time to sit and think, like, why do I live in a place that does this to me? Like, it was so miserable. Like, it was a bad time. I hated it.
That's one way to put it. Like, why do I live in a place that hurts me like this?
Yeah, man. I was probably like I was in an abusive relationship or something with the North. And so I got on the phone with my mentor, business partner at the time. And I was like, fuck going to Texas, dude. As soon as I can, I'm turning around. This sucks. I'm so cold. I'm stranded. I called the police. They said there's like wrecks upon wrecks ahead of us. They couldn't even tell me when we were going to get out. And I talked to him, and he's like, buddy, I just booked you a suite at a 5-star resort in Missouri. Make it to Missouri. Take a couple days. Recollect, and we'll talk. And I was like, well, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
But Missouri's as far as I'm going.
Yeah. So then, got through the storm. That was a whole journey in itself. Got to Missouri. Weird time. To kind of sidebar on that, I got to the resort in Missouri. And when on my partying days, I was partying hard. And I don't remember everything I did or every place I went. But I went there, and my name was on file. And they knew me. They're like, a couple of them were like, Mr. Bryant. And I'm like, apparently I thought it looked familiar, but apparently I'd been there before.
In Missouri?
Yes. But I didn't remember going. And like, I had some wild times with the young man. Maybe we can talk more about that at some point. A lot of it's pretty wild, pretty crazy. So I spent a few days there, went to Texas, and this might tie into maybe one of your other questions, how I got into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because like whenever I would go to a new place to set up shop, I would just Google martial arts near me, and I would try out a taekwondo gym or a karate gym. or I did Jeet Kune Do in South Bend for a little bit, Indiana. So I got to Haltom City in Texas. I got to an extended stay, and I just did my usual routine, Googled martial arts near me. And that's where Peak Performance in Watauga was 2 minutes up the road. I was like, perfect, I've never tried jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I'll go try that. I went and I got cooked by a 72-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens to the best
He
of us,
whooped
dude.
me, slap, bump, drop, double leg, side control, wrist locked me, and this guy up, started fixing his belt.
Got back to his walker.
Hey, I'm laying there. I'm like, what the hell? And then I got cooked by a small, younger guy who ends up, or maybe if you watch The Ultimate Fighter, UFC, Victor Altamirano, he was one of my first jiu-jitsu matches, cooked me as well.
Yeah.
And that was a great time. So I talked to Coach Juan Tatum, awesome guy in Peak Performance Watauga, amazing coach. And I was like, dude, I don't even need to finish the whole trial week. Like, sign me up. I need whatever these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into jiu-jitsu, and that's how I got to Texas, chasing the roof.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That is like a movie.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
Yeah. Wow. So you get to Texas, you get set up, you're doing roofing.
Yeah.
When does that end and what?
So I got on.
You're not doing roofing.
I'm not doing roofing at all.
Yeah.
And that's a tale in itself. But the mentor that I was dealing with, who became more like a father figure to me than my own father was, engaged in my life.
Yeah.
My old man wasn't terribly interested, I suspect, in being a parental figure. And so he, this guy that I'd worked with for years, taught me, trained me, changed my life, brought me up. I don't know. I think maybe he was going through a tough time in his life. I think he'd gone through a divorce. And just the relationship soured between us here.
Yeah.
And there was commissions not being paid. I had other salesmen that I brought on board saying, "Hey, I'm not getting my commissions."
And what time frame was this? How many years had you been working with the dude? Like, how long did it take to dissolve? To what that was?
5 to 7 years together.
Okay. All right.
And
So you guys didn't make it past the 7-year itch.
yeah. We basically got to a point where I was like, you know what, man? I'm still appreciative of everything I learned from
Yeah.
him, all my time with him, very thankful for it. I just I'm going to break off on my own. And, Noemi and I, we'd already had, a little bit of side hustle, offering cleaning services. We'd hire on a gal or two, and I'd sell someone a roof, be like, hey, by the way, I can get you a house clean. And then, so we decided to lean into that a little bit more because we had some momentum going there, and
Yeah.
even a little bit. And I did try partnering with a couple other roofers. I would meet them, and they didn't have their shit together. They didn't have systems and processes. I had a couple who burned me on commissions. So I was a little jaded on the roofing business. So I was like, let's just lean into the cleaning business more. And so that's when I started building out Rise and Clean a little bit more over time. And that's where I kind of started closing the door on that chapter of my life as a roofing sales guy. And I felt like a young hot shot.
So you were like 30?
No, not even yet. Well, I must have been close to 30 at that point. And that's why also Jiu-Jitsu came to me in a good time in my life, because I was starting to get a big head again. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I felt like the Wolf of Wall Street in the roofing game, like just a young man just closing deals, making more money than I ever made in my life, hiring and training on other sales guys, watching their lives change because they were learning to sell roofs, feeling like a hot shot. So when I went to Jiu-Jitsu class, nobody cared about how many roofs I was selling, that I was top of the leaderboard, that I was getting awards from ABC Roofing for being like the number one, shingle distributor or salesman in the Chicagoland area one year.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. I was just another dude just getting his ass kicked. And that really brought me back down to earth because my head was getting up there.
Yeah.
So it came to me in a good time. And then, just kind of started leaning into other things. I had a few in between little gigs. Like I was operating purely as a freelance writer for a while. Freelance writing and journalism.
What kind of freelance writing?
In the beginning? Yeah, I did a lot. I mean, I was supporting our family with freelance writing entirely for a while.
So this is just one of those things where, again, I'm not familiar with it. So is this like kind of like Fiverr, where you're just like on a online, you're on a database somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, my specialty is, in your case, like, sexual assault,
Yeah.
being a weirdo.
Yeah, being a weirdo. For sure. I have weird stories from this time too.
But yeah, so someone comes and solicits, hey, I need 2,000 words on what? How does that work?
So in the beginning, I would take whatever I could get. Like one of my first accounts was someone they had like a medical facility and they were trying to rank on SEO. So they said like, I need 50 articles that are at least 1,000 words written about HPV or
Wait. So it's like 50 articles.
yeah,
So they're ordering in bulk.
yes. So I would have so many weeks to deliver 20, 50 articles, stuff like that.
Did they have its own constraints? Like they need to be different, they can be phrased this way, this
Yeah.
one's gonna be structured more towards like this demographic of folks.
Yeah, and they would have requirements like
Damn.
these keywords have to be used so many times within each article to trigger search engine optimization, etc. And then I would take other gigs. Like I had one returning client who owned like a website selling like ninja stars, caltrops, and all ninja related stuff.
Okay.
And
Is it a big ninja market?
yeah, there it is. Surprising.
You don't ever.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. And the skilled ones. And so I wrote a lot of articles about ninjas. And then I wrote a lot of stuff about roofs and sales. I tried to lean into stuff that I was into. I was hired as a freelancer by like a video game website, so they would have me write reviews about video games.
All right. So let's back. All right. So the authenticity of these reviews.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you played these games.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Yep. I wrote a lot of articles. I was hired by a cannabis book sales company, and they would send me cannabis-related books, and then ask me to write summaries of them. So I'd have to read them at least the majority of the way through, and then summarize what I was reading about for those.
All right. So my mind immediately goes on to like your time and labor to pay. Was it actually worth reading an entire book and then writing? You're essentially doing a book report.
Yeah. I'm doing professional book.
This is not like 2 hours of time. to
Correct.
Read a book.
Correct.
Were they paying you at that? Like, hey, it's 15, 20 hours of your time? Or was it just for the article?
So it would be for like the contract would be 50, 70, 20 articles or whatever. And then, you know, I would say that's one skill I can brag about a little bit. I'm a very fast reader. I can read really quick.
Yeah.
Like shockingly so in some cases. And that's something I've messed with teachers in school about, because everyone would be like reading through the science book together, one page at a time, like they would in middle school. And I would just sit there with the book closed. They'd be like, "Oh, you're not participating?" I'm like, "I already read the book."
Yeah.
And then I would challenge them to quiz me on things on it. And it's kind of my little rebellious phase, one aspect of it. So, you know,
to consider that rebellious, like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not doing drugs.
Yeah.
I'm reading books.
Yeah, well,
as fast as possible.
yeah. And then quiz me
Fuck
on it because
you,
I'm not
lady.
participating.
Fuck you, school teacher lady. I just
Yeah.
learned everything.
And they would be like, "Oh yeah, well," and I'm like, "Well, this is how many electrons are on this shelf of it, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? You know." And so I would do book reports, journalism. I had a couple crazy experiences with journalism stuff, and that was kind of holding me over until I found my way into the roofing business.
Okay. Oh, so this.
No, sorry, until I found myself taking Rise and Clean more serious. Growing.
Okay. All right, so you're already with women.
Yeah, I met her doing door-to-door roof sales. I signed her dad, then asked for her phone number. Yeah.
Like the dowry for your daughter is
Yeah.
one roof, a couple goats, and a
I'll-
bushel of corn.
Yeah, I'll upgrade your shingle for no additional cost if I can holler at your daughter.
If I can have your daughter's number, I'll get this done by
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's how I met her, and then we started Rise and Clean together there, hiring people on and growing that project.
Right on. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, let's see, man. What else? That's a good story. That's like.
Yeah.
So you said you built up Rising.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I see your guys' cars in that area
Mhm.
all the time. You obviously go to my neighborhood, help
Yeah.
my neighbors out. What's do you think you're ever going to be done? Is there? And I ask this because I know how you are. You are a intense, the best of ways kind of guy. You're intense with good things. Rising Clean is a good thing. You're intense about it. You want it to grow and develop and get big. When, in your mind right now, do you say, we're good, we're done, I can hand this off to another professional and just reap the benefits of it?
Yeah.
Go enjoy whatever that's going to be.
And that's part of one of my main focuses. I think ideally that should be what a business ultimately becomes,
Yeah.
is building an invisible cash machine. That it takes years to build the engine, and then you put it together. It needs the occasional maintenance, but ultimately it's producing.
Yeah.
And we're getting closer there. So I also own a virtual assistant agency, and the virtual assistant agency helps to automate much of the tasks within the cleaning business, Rise and Clean. So ultimately, I'd like to get to a point where Rise and Clean is 99.999% automated, doesn't need me for the day-to-day. We're just about getting there. I choose to work every day just because I like to work on stuff. But I want to get to a point where Rise and Clean and Logos Administrative Solutions are both predominantly automated, so I can just, accept my income. And then what I'd like to do, as you and I have talked about, I'd like to be able to focus on fun projects like this podcast. Austin and I have talked about opening our own Jiu-Jitsu gym together at some point.
Yeah.
I love teaching and training. I teach here Monday through Friday, the morning class. Have been for over 4 years now. And I want to get to a point where my serious business endeavors can support me, at least mostly passively, as I pursue the things that I really like to do. And training and teaching Jiu-Jitsu is something that just feels amazing to me, and it's something that I feel very happy doing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of my long-term goals, to get to a point where those can sustain my family's lifestyle and then some, while I do the things that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the dynamic for the audience really to see is you have Joe who's, you work umpteen million different jobs. You've got so much experience in different realms of the world, and you're self-made. You've got a business. You've made your own income. And you've got me who's done 21 years in the military, getting a paycheck, whether or not I'm good at it or not. And I'm with corporate America now, which I thoroughly enjoy. That's the difference in culture and developing as a man. Obviously shared interests we talked about earlier, but that's really what I see this podcast being, is Joe showing anybody who's watching the ropes on being an entrepreneur, my dumbass learning and asking questions and being interested from a vantage point of never doing this myself. And then when we get into things that I'm into, Joe's going to be in the same boat as, all right, so this is how you have to deal with bad people or poor performers, because they're on the books, they're getting paid no matter what.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a challenge. I know
you started on
you've had challenges with your company as well as some folks.
For sure. Always will.
But it's everywhere, it's rampant. But the point is, you've got a completely different background than I have, especially on the professional front. We have similar upbringing challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about some of those things too. Similar things going on. We're going to get into that on this one.
Yeah.
But that's the dynamic between Joe and I. Definitely enjoy the Jiu-Jitsu, Stoicism, just talking like this after we try to kill each other on the mat.
Yeah.
And then learning from you and you learning from me.
Yeah, the get to know part of the podcast, and that's part of what I'm excited about, to evolve and enjoy this journey and build upon it, build my businesses. I do want to share a lot of business building type content as well. I think I have a lot of useful stuff to share, and the how it all blends together for me so much: the business, the martial arts, the philosophy, the stoicism, community service, contributing to the lives of others.
Yeah.
And I see this podcast as a project to kind of share that as well into the world.
Yeah, and expose some of the awesome people that we roll with here. Like, there are some really, really good people. And if anything, on a general human level, if you're watching this should show you, what the podcast does show you, the amount of awesome people that are out there that you're walking by every day, or maybe you're involved in a group like this with Jiu-Jitsu or some sort of martial arts, and sit down with somebody and actually learn their story, chat them up. They don't need to be a celebrity to be interesting. They don't need to be a billionaire to be influential in the local area. They just need to be good people, and that's what we really want to capture.
And that point is bringing up about how many amazing people there are in the world that aren't on the internet, famous celebrities, influencers. And that's something I learned doing door-to-door sales. I got to go in and just meet so many people, go in their homes, and with a big Bruce's type project, you might have to visit their homes several times, meet their families. And I sat down and met so many people who I just found downright inspirational.
Yeah.
That I would never have met living the lifestyle I lived before, because the type of people I was hanging out with in my past life were less impressive, to say the least. So getting to go out and just meet people who are building their own lives, building their own businesses, or working amazing jobs, contributing to their communities, acting like it was no big deal, it had me in awe. And I think there's a lot of unearthed, amazing value and impressive stories and people that are just waiting to have a spotlight shined upon them.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is part of the appeal of building upon a project like this. And of course, getting to know and learn things about other places, businesses, and stuff Austin can share and teach with us over time as well. Teaching each other jiu-jitsu stuff. I can tell you my jiu-jitsu has increased since training with Austin, and I think there'll be a lot of fun value. And you know, document the journey of as we build the gym as well. I think that'll be really
that'd be
fun.
awesome.
Hell yeah, yeah, that'll be really fun. But just you know, the overarching premise of today's episode is just for us to get to know each other a little better, and for you guys to get to know who the hell we are and what we bring to the table, and you're moving forward, kind of grow upon that foundation from there.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Please keep your ear to the ground for us because we need some more episodes. Probably sporadically at first until we get into a rhythm, but we've got big plans for this. And,
Oh yeah.
Really appreciate it if you watched all the way through, and if you're interested, stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you know, different kinds of people will bring different kinds of value to you guys. We're gonna have different subjects. You know, we got people. We're gonna go check out their facilities, their businesses. We're gonna go over jiu-jitsu techniques, martial arts, self-defense techniques, and then you know, go over entrepreneurial business type content. So whatever you're into, I think you'll find some kind of value to be had here. So I appreciate you guys checking it out, tuning in, and catch you guys on the next one.
See you.